Hello everyone, welcome to the English Echo. We're very happy you're here today. Today, we're going to practice English together in a simple and relaxing way. I'm Sam.
And I'm Sophia.
We're happy you're here today.
Let's learn together. Imagine waking up, right, and before you even get out of bed, your brain is already telling you 100 things you did wrong yesterday. Your mind is just racing. I mean, you already feel exhausted before the day even begins.
Yes, that is such a common and heavy feeling for so many people.
It really is. So today we are going to learn how to turn that negative voice off. Or, well, at least how to manage it better. We're talking about how to control your mind.
I think this is such a necessary topic, for anyone learning a language, working a demanding job, or just trying to find some peace. Because the truth is, if you do not control your mind will completely control you. That constant spinning of thoughts just leads to stress, confusion, and a feeling of being completely lost in your daily life.
I know that feeling very well, actually. When your mind is driving the car and you are just a helpless passenger, life feels incredibly difficult. You might feel worried all the time. But when you finally learn to put your hands on the steering wheel, everything changes.
Exactly. A controlled mind brings you peace, focus, and a quiet confidence. When you learn to guide your thoughts, the heavy things in life become a little easier to carry. You feel strong, and you feel ready to study English, or solve a problem at work, or simply enjoy a quiet morning without feeling anxious.
That sounds like a beautiful place to be. But to get to that peaceful place, we have to start at the very beginning, right? And that first step is what we call awareness.
Yes, awareness is the perfect place to start. To control your mind, you first have to actually see what it is doing. We cannot control something that we do not notice. Most of the time, our thoughts run in the background like a quiet radio, and we do not even realize we're listening to it.
A quiet radio, yeah. That is a great way to describe it. Awareness means finally paying attention to that background noise. Because many people live their entire lives without ever stopping to notice what is happening inside their own heads.
It is very true. They feel sad or angry, but they do not see the quiet negative thoughts that cause those feelings in the first place. You see, our thoughts come automatically. We do not wake up and ask to feel worried.
Right. Nobody asks for that. Sometimes the mind gives us wonderful positive ideas, but very often it hands us fears, worries, and doubts about the future. It is like a machine that never stops producing thoughts, just all day long.
And you cannot stop the machine from producing thoughts. The brain is designed to think, after all. But here's the beautiful secret. You do not have to believe every thought that the machine produces. Just because your brain creates a fear does not mean that fear is a true fact.
Wow, that is a massive realization. I do not have to believe my own thoughts. I think most negative thoughts grow into big, heavy walls simply because we do not notice them when they are small.
Exactly. A tiny worry about a meeting tomorrow can become a huge panic attack if we just ignore it. Building awareness catches the worry early and stops this painful overthinking. When you catch the negative thought while it is still tiny, you take away its power.
So you just look at it and acknowledge it.
Yes. You could look at that small worry and say, I see you, but you are just a thought. I will not give you my energy. When you name the thought, it stops growing. It stops hiding in the shadows of your mind.
I have a favorite way to picture this. Imagine your mind is a giant movie screen. Most of the time, we are acting inside the movie, fighting the bad guys and running from the monster.
Oh, I love that comparison.
Yeah, but awareness is like walking out of the movie, sitting down in the comfortable theater chair, and just watching the scenes play on the screen.
That is a perfect way to look at it. Watching the movie of your mind creates distance. When you sit in a comfortable chair and watch a scary movie, you know you are safe. Your heart might beat a little faster, but deep down, you know you are not actually inside the screen. You are just observing the light and sound.
Right, I am just observing. But wait, sometimes the movie in my mind is extremely scary. Like, what stops me from jumping out of my seat and climbing back into the screen to fight those thoughts? How do I stay in the comfortable chair?
Well, you stay in the chair by simply changing the words you use. Instead of saying, I am terrified, you say, I am noticing a terrifying thought. That small change in language reminds your brain that you are the watcher.
I'm noticing a thought.
Yes, this distance stops you from being a victim. You realize you are the calm audience, not the drama on the screen.
Okay, so I am sitting in the theater. I see the negative thought on the movie screen. I am aware of it. But sometimes the thought is so big and bright, I cannot look away from it. I know it is just a movie, but it is taking all my attention. What do I do next?
That naturally brings us to the next step. which is focus. Once you are aware of your thoughts, you have to actively choose which ones to look at. You see, your mind goes wherever your attention goes.
So I have to direct my attention.
Exactly. Attention is like food for your thoughts. If you feed a thought, it grows. If you starve it, well, it shrinks. What you stop paying attention to naturally loses its power over time.
I like to think of focus as a powerful flashlight in a completely dark room. You cannot make the dark room disappear, right? The darkness is always there. But whatever you point your flashlight at is the only thing you will see.
That is a brilliant analogy, Sam.
Thanks. If you shine the flashlight on a problem, the problem looks huge. It fills your whole world because it is all you can see in the dark.
That explains the mechanism of the brain so well. The brain only has a limited amount of energy. So if you point your flashlight at fear, your brain uses all its energy to build a bigger fear. But if you point your flashlight at solutions or things you are grateful for, your brain uses its energy to build happiness and confidence.
This happens to me all the time, honestly. I can get 50 wonderful messages from friends, but if I get one unkind email, I point my flashlight right at the bad email. I stare at it all day. I completely ignore all the good things because I am so focused on the one bad thing.
We all do that.
Okay.
We do that because human brains naturally look for danger to protect us. But you have the power to move the flashlight. You do not need to fight the unkind email. Fighting it just keeps the flashlight pointed at it.
Oh, so trying to fight the thought just feeds it more energy.
Exactly. You just need to physically move your light away and point it at something helpful. Just shine the light somewhere else.
Moving the light sounds simple, but it is really hard today. I mean, our world is full of things trying to grab our flashlight. We have phones buzzing, social media videos, gossip, and the constant pressure to do 10 things at the same time. These distractions pull the flashlight out of our hands.
They really do. And every time your phone distracts you, your mind gets a little weaker.
Yeah.
To build a strong mind, you have to take the flashlight back. A very effective way to do this is to bring your mind completely into the present moment. Right here, in this exact second.
Why does the present moment matter so much? I know many of us spend hours shining our flashlight into the past thinking about mistakes. Or we shine it into the future, worrying about things that have not happened yet.
Shining your light into the past or the future is a waste of energy because you cannot change either of them. The past is completely gone, and the future does not exist yet. When you tell yourself, I am here right now and this moment is real, you bring your energy back to a place where you actually have power.
That makes complete sense. We should only focus our energy on things we can actually control today. We cannot control what other people think of us. We cannot control the weather or the news. We can only control our own effort, our own actions, and our own attitude.
Trying to control other people will only bring you frustration and sadness. So focus your flashlight on your own daily choices. And there is a fantastic tool to help with this daily focus. It is called the one thing rule.
The one thing rule. I think I need this rule because people often believe that doing many things at once is a good thing. They try to listen to a podcast, answer emails, and cook dinner all at the exact same time. They think multitasking makes them productive.
Multitasking actually destroys your focus and tires your brain. The brain is not a computer. It cannot do two complex things at once. It just switches back and forth very quickly.
So it just feels like we are doing them at the same time.
Yes. The one thing rule means doing exactly one task with full attention. If you are drinking tea, just drink tea. Taste it. Feel the warmth. If you are studying English, just study English. Turn off the TV and put the phone away.
I can see why that works. When you do one thing with full attention, you keep your flashlight steady. You are not waving it around the room wildly. But even if we practice this perfectly, we are still human beings. Strong feelings are going to happen.
Of course they will.
So how do we handle strong, overwhelming emotions when they suddenly arrive?
This is where many people struggle. First, we must understand the true nature of emotions. Emotions are temporary. They are not permanent facts. You can think of emotions as visitors to your house.
Visitors to the house. I love that.
Yes. They knock on the door, they come inside for a little while, and then they leave.
Like they might sit on my sofa, but they do not own my house. But sometimes a visitor like extreme anger or deep sadness feels so heavy. When I am angry, it feels like I will be angry forever. It does not feel temporary at all.
It feels permanent because in that moment, the emotional part of your brain has taken total control. But remember, every emotion begins with a thought. For example, the feeling of panic usually comes from the thought, what if everything goes wrong?
So the thought creates the feeling.
Exactly. And if we change the thought, the emotion naturally changes too.
Wait, does that mean I should question my own feelings? Because sometimes my anxiety is just my imagination painting a terrible picture. It is not based on anything actually happening in the real world.
Yes. Always ask yourself, is this feeling based on a true fact right now, or is it just my imagination running wild? Questioning your emotions forces your logical brain to wake up. When logic wakes up, you realize you do not have to blindly follow every feeling your body produces.
This brings up a very practical habit we can use. It is called the 5-second pause. When you feel a sudden, strong emotion, you simply wait 5 full seconds before you speak or act.
The 5-second pause is incredibly helpful.
It is, but I have to ask, when I am furious about something, 5 seconds feels like an hour. How do I actually stop myself from reacting?
It is very difficult, but it is necessary because an instant reaction is almost always an emotional reaction. When the emotional brain is driving the car, you might send a terrible email or shout at a friend.
Right, you do things you regret later.
Exactly. Taking a 5-second pause to take a deep breath literally changes your brain chemistry. It gives the logical brain time to grab the steering wheel.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just taking one slow breath. I mean, it is a tiny window of time, but it can save relationships and jobs. It stops you from making a permanent mistake based on a temporary feeling.
And during that 5-second window, you can use a powerful trick. You can quietly name the emotion. You can say to yourself, I am feeling frustrated, or I am feeling overwhelmed.
How does naming it actually help? If I say, I feel sad, does the sadness just magically disappear from the room?
It does not disappear, no. But it stops you from drowning in the feeling. When you say the words, I feel sad, you are observing the visitor instead of becoming the visitor. Naming it gives you clarity, and clarity gives you a sense of calm control over your own actions.
That is a profound shift in thinking. But I have to admit, doing this every single day sounds exhausting. Noticing thoughts, focusing the flashlight, pausing for 5 seconds. I mean, it is a lot of work.
It is work. We have to treat the mind like a muscle that needs constant training.
So it is like physical exercise.
Exactly like that. If you want strong arms, you have to lift heavy things at the gym regularly. If you want a strong mind, you have to practice mental discipline daily. You have to build strong boundaries to protect your internal peace.
So we train the mind by doing hard things on purpose, like waking up early when the bed is warm, or finishing a boring project instead of watching television, or simply putting the phone away for an hour. Doing these difficult things trains the mind to handle stress better in the future.
Yes, every time you complete a difficult task, your brain learns that it is capable and strong. You also train your mind by managing the words you use. The human brain has a rule: it cannot hold two opposite thoughts at the exact same time.
So if I have a weak thought, I cannot just leave it there. I have to actively push it out by replacing it. If my brain says I am a total failure, I need to replace it with a strong thought like, I made a mistake, but I will learn and improve next time.
You must replace the negative thought immediately before it grows roots. And this brings up a sad reality for many of us. People often speak to themselves in terrible ways. The voice inside their head is cruel. They call themselves stupid, lazy, or worthless.
It is completely true, and it is heartbreaking. We would never look a good friend in the eye and say those cruel things to them. We should speak to ourselves with the same kindness and respect we would offer to someone we truly love.
That is the ultimate rule for mental health. You must fire your inner critic and hire an inner coach. A critic stands on the side and tells you how terrible you are. A critic drains your energy, but a coach stands beside you and pushes you forward to be better.
Wait, but if I just say nice things to myself, won't I become lazy? How do we make sure our inner voice sounds like a good coach and not just someone giving out empty compliments?
A good coach is not just nice. A good coach is firm, but encouraging. When you make a mistake, a critic says, you ruined everything. A coach says, that did not work. Let us find out why and try again tomorrow. Stay focused. A coach's words give you the energy to keep trying.
I feel the difference. Let us try again tomorrow feels so much lighter than you ruined everything. I think another powerful daily habit for building this discipline is sitting in total silence, just for 5 minutes a day.
Silence is medicine for a busy mind. Finding 5 minutes with no screens, no music, no talking, and no working. Just sitting in a chair and paying attention to your breath. It teaches your brain that it is safe to be quiet. A mind that knows how to be quiet is a mind you can control.
And when we finish that 5 minutes of silence, or when we finish studying a difficult English lesson, we should actively reward the mind. Just saying well done to yourself out loud seems like a small thing, but it changes how the brain works.
Positive reinforcement is incredibly effective. When you say well done, your brain releases chemicals that make you feel good. Your brain learns that discipline, focus, and hard work actually feel good. Because it feels good, your mind will want to repeat that behavior again tomorrow.
This all builds up to something much bigger, doesn't it? When we practice this awareness, focus, and kind discipline day after day, we are not just changing our thoughts, we actually change who we are. We build a completely new identity.
Yes, identity is the final and highest level of controlling your mind. Your identity is simply who you believe you are at your core. The human mind will always obey the self-image you create for it. Your identity is the map that your brain uses to decide how to act.
So if I deeply believe the story that I am a lazy person, my mind will make sure I act lazy. If I try to work hard, my brain will actually fight against me because working hard does not match the story of being lazy. But if I believe I am a focused person, my mind naturally acts focused.
Exactly. Your brain hates it when your actions do not match your story. Every person carries an old story. They tell themselves, I am a worried person, or I am someone who quits when things get hard. To take control, we have to throw away those old stories and write new ones.
Because if we hold on to those old stories, we will always be slaves to our thoughts. A weak, negative identity makes you a slave. But building a strong, intentional identity makes you the master. The master gives the orders, and the mind happily listens.
To become the master, you must build genuine inner strength. And inner strength is built entirely on self-respect. You cannot just think your way to a new identity. You have to prove it to yourself.
That makes a lot of sense. The quickest way to build self-respect is by keeping the small promises you make to yourself. If I promise myself I will read for 10 minutes before bed and I actually do it, my brain starts to trust me, my words become powerful.
If you constantly break your promises to yourself, your brain stops believing you. When you say, I am going to change, your brain says, no, you will not. But when you do what you say, your identity becomes real. Your daily habits are the bricks that build your new identity.
So I cannot just stand in front of a mirror and say, I am a calm, peaceful person. I have to actually build habits that match that calm identity. If my identity is peaceful, my daily habits must include the 5-second pause and deep breathing.
Habits turn imagination into reality. If you want your identity to be a disciplined learner, you must sit down and study. If you want to be a focused worker, you must practice the one thing rule. Identity combined with daily habits creates a mind that is fully under your control.
We also have to look closely at the physical space around us, right? If we are trying to build a new identity, we have to change our environment. A messy, chaotic room or spending time with highly negative people will naturally pull you backward into the old version of yourself.
Your environment is a mirror of your mind, and it shapes your habits. Cleaning your desk, finding a quiet corner to think, and spending time with people who encourage you makes the process much easier. A calm, clean environment supports a calm, clear mind.
When we look at all these steps, they connect so beautifully. First, we use awareness to step out of the movie and watch our thoughts. Then we take control of the flashlight and focus our attention on the right things instead of the dark corners.
Then we recognize that our emotions are just temporary visitors, and we use the 5-second pause to let the logical brain take over. We replace the cruel inner critic with a supportive inner coach.
And finally, through daily promises and habits, we build a brand new identity. We step into the role of the master. We realize that the mind is not an enemy we have to fight. When trained properly, the mind is actually the greatest tool we have.
It truly is your greatest power. I want to leave you with one thought to carry with you today. Notice that everything in your life, every reaction, every relationship, every success, and every feeling begins as a simple thought inside your head.
The entire world starts on the inside.
Exactly. When you dedicate time to learning how to control your inner world, the outside world automatically becomes an easier, more peaceful, and much more beautiful place to live.
Thank you for listening to The English Echo.
Keep practicing English every day.
Small steps can make a big difference.
See you in the next episode.